You know that moment when you're completely convinced you've met your soulmate, when every part of your being recognizes a bond that feels beyond anything you've ever known, only for that person to suddenly pull away right when you thought you were finally coming together for good. This isn't an ordinary separation. It feels as though the entire universe showed you paradise, then shut the door in your face. But according to Carl Jung, this isn't coincidence or cruelty. It's part of the karmic cycle of love. It's a natural pattern where the most painful collapse often comes right before the union of two truly compatible souls. The truth is, the deeper the pain of separation you're feeling now, the stronger and more profound the reunion that's being prepared for you. That's why you need to watch until the end, because I'm going to reveal how to understand this karmic cycle of love. Stay with me, and you'll learn the clearest sign that your current collapse is about to turn into one of the most extraordinary unions two souls can ever experience. Jung discovered that when two genuinely compatible souls meet, when they truly recognize each other, beyond social masks and surface personalities, they can't unite immediately. At the level they first meet, they're compelled by deeper, energetic forces to descend together into what Jung called the alchemical nigredo, the total breakdown of everything inauthentic between them, before they can rise again and form a conscious, lasting connection. Here's where most people misunderstand this process. When they meet their compatible soul and things begin to fall apart, they mistake the pain and confusion for proof that the connection is unhealthy or wrong. They believe they made a mistake and start searching for easier, more comfortable relationships. Ironically, they run away just as they're about to reach levels of intimacy and unity they never imagined possible. Jung once said, "The tragedy of humanity is not failing to find true love, but finding it and lacking the courage to endure the transformation it demands." And that transformation always requires the same thing, the voluntary death of every version of yourself that cannot exist in a conscious union with another fully developed soul. This is where many people get lost in the idea of twin flames. They imagine finding their perfect counterpart means discovering a missing puzzle piece that instantly completes them and resolves their emotional struggles. But Jung realized it's actually the opposite. Finding a truly compatible soul is like discovering the perfect chemical catalyst, one that accelerates every transformation you've delayed for years. It's as if the universe declares, now that you've found each other, there's no escaping who you really are. This journey can be intense and painful because much of your identity was built around the version of yourself you believed the world would accept. The first sign you've met a truly compatible soul is that their presence makes it impossible to keep pretending. You may try to hold on to your social masks, conditioned behaviors, and emotional defense mechanisms, but they'll see right through them. Their authenticity naturally pushes you to confront the parts of yourself that aren't real. Carl Jung described this as the projection of anima and animus, when we recognize in another person the unacknowledged aspects of our own soul. With truly compatible souls, this projection happens in both directions at once, creating a mirror effect that exposes each person's deepest issues. They might awaken in you an anger you never knew existed, not out of cruelty, but because their genuine nature touches wounds you've avoided for years. Likewise, you might trigger their hidden fears and insecurities, not through manipulation, but because your openness forces them to face parts of themselves they haven't yet accepted. In this early stage of recognition and mutual breakdown, you'll experience moments of connection so profound they feel timeless, followed by conflicts so raw you may question your bond. Jung saw these extremes not as signs of incompatibility, but as evidence that you're exploring deeper layers of the psyche, levels untouched in surface-level relationships. When two people connect only through personality and social roles, their relationship may be peaceful but limited. However, when two souls truly see each other beyond the masks, They are drawn into a powerful process, one that compels both to confront and integrate their shadow selves. They preferred to stay hidden, and this process is naturally intense and challenging. The second sign that your compatible soul is moving through the karmic cycle is that your conflicts aren't about surface-level matters like money, plans, or opinions. Instead, they revolve around deep existential themes: how each of you handles vulnerability, responds to feeling threatened, avoids intimacy when it becomes overwhelming, or even sabotages your own happiness when things start going well. Jung noted that compatible souls become living laboratories for each other, spaces where unresolved issues, unhealed traumas, and aspects of personality that need refinement rise to the surface rapidly and powerfully. You may uncover behavioral patterns you were unaware of, find yourself reacting in unexpected ways, or experience emotions like anger, fear, or neediness with an intensity you've never felt before. This occurs because Jung understood that compatible souls operate on an energetic frequency that bypasses ordinary psychological defenses, the ones we usually rely on in casual relationships. With others, you can manage how much of yourself you reveal, choosing what to show and what to conceal. But with a compatible soul, there's an energetic transparency that makes it nearly impossible to maintain those barriers. It's as though they have direct access to the deepest parts of your psyche. This experience can be both freeing and frightening. Freeing because you can finally be your most authentic self with someone, and frightening because you can't escape the parts of yourself you haven't yet accepted or learned to love. During this deconstruction phase, which Jung considered essential for any true union of souls, you may go through moments when it feels like everything is falling apart. The romantic fantasies of being together often prove naive when confronted with the complex reality of two imperfect people working to build something genuine. When the projections you place on each other begin to fade, what's left are two imperfect human beings, complete with flaws, wounds and limitations that no relationship can fully heal. This is the stage where many people give up, mistaking the end of romantic illusion for the end of love itself. But in reality, it's the opposite. Carl Jung once said, "Real love can only begin when fantasy love ends." True. Love starts when you stop loving the projection of someone and start loving the real person, with all their contradictions and complexities. Here's what Jung found most fascinating about this process. When two souls are genuinely compatible, when there's a deep recognition that goes beyond fantasy, they can't truly part ways. Even when the deconstruction phase feels unbearable, an invisible magnetic force keeps them connected. This connection transcends conscious effort, continuing to operate even when both believe it's gone. Jung noticed that truly compatible couples often experience temporary separations during their transformation. They may even seek comfort elsewhere, looking for something less demanding. But they inevitably realize that no other relationship offers the same depth, authenticity, or growth. The third sign of this karmic cycle is that even during separation, even when the relationship feels too complicated to maintain, both individuals keep evolving. Their growth is a continuation of what began together. Jung called this individuation through encounter, the process where knowing another soul profoundly accelerates one's self-awareness and development. You may find yourself braver in expressing authenticity, more comfortable with emotional complexity, and more capable of loving without attachment. Meanwhile, the other person may also be growing, gaining self-awareness, confronting patterns, and learning true intimacy. Jung believed that when two souls are truly compatible, their influence continues even at a distance. There's an energetic connection that transcends circumstances, nurturing transformation in both until they reach a maturity that allows them to reconnect at a higher, more conscious level. It's as if a cosmic timing mechanism ensures they don't reunite before both have done the necessary inner work to sustain the union their souls once recognized. Jung observed this dynamic not just in theory but in his own life. When he met Emma, who would become his lifelong partner, their connection was so intense that it nearly destroyed them. She challenged everything about him, tore down his defenses, and forced him to face the darker parts of himself he had long avoided. He unknowingly mirrored her behavior, creating circumstances that tested her patience and understanding to their limits. It was only when both stopped resisting this mutual breakdown, when they accepted the need to let go of who they were when they first met, that they uncovered a deeper form of love, one that transcended the boundaries of traditional relationships. Jung recognized that this dynamic wasn't accidental or unhealthy, it was an energetic necessity. Two souls that connect on such a profound level cannot exist peacefully on the surface, because each reflects exactly what the other must transform to become whole. During the phase of apparent separation, which Jung described as the most vital stage of the karmic cycle, both individuals are guided by synchronicities and life experiences that push them to face the same issues their relationship had revealed, but which they were not yet ready to heal together. You may find yourself encountering challenges that help you develop the very qualities she once urged you to build. Similarly, she may be guided to work on the traits you had pointed out as limiting. It's as if the universe continues the transformative work you began together, but separately, preparing both of you for a reunion on a higher frequency. The fourth sign that you're experiencing this karmic process is the growing ability to appreciate the very traits in each other that once caused irritation or confusion. Jung noted that when aligned souls temporarily part ways to work on their individual growth, they often gain a deeper, more compassionate understanding of one another. This happens because they begin to recognize in themselves the same flaws and patterns they once judged in the other. You may come to see that the behavior of hers that once bothered you was merely a reflection of something within yourself. She, in turn, may begin to value in you the very traits she previously criticized, as she develops those same qualities through her own journey. Jung discovered that this expansion of perspective and compassion through personal experience is crucial for truly compatible souls to reunite in a sustainable way when you're caught in the emotional intensity of facing your deepest wounds through a relationship. It's difficult to maintain the clarity and empathy needed for growth. But when life later forces you to experience similar lessons on your own, to develop the same traits you once dismissed, you gain a genuine understanding of how hard it is to change ingrained patterns. You come to see that everyone has a shadow side. That real transformation requires patience, time, and self-compassion. In this phase of personal evolution, your connection with the other person may start to feel less possessive and more authentic, less about fulfilling emotional needs and more about mutual recognition. Jung wrote, "Possessive love is always rooted in ego, an attempt to control another ego to satisfy its own emptiness. But love between individuated souls rises above need and becomes an act of true recognition. When two people love each other not for what they can gain, but for what they see as sacred and unique within the other's soul, something begins to change. You may notice you think of them with greater warmth and less fear. You start to genuinely wish for their happiness, even if it doesn't involve you. Your sense of fulfillment no longer depends on being together, yet the thought of sharing life with them becomes even more meaningful, precisely because it's no longer driven by need. The fifth sign that you're nearing the end of a karmic cycle is the emergence of recurring dreams about one another. These dreams, along with powerful synchronicities, suggest a bond that transcends time and space, a sense that something significant is shifting between you. Carl Jung studied the phenomenon of communication through the collective unconscious and found that truly compatible souls maintain a psychic connection that surpasses physical separation and conscious awareness. During times of personal growth, this unseen link continues to operate. As both individuals reach the maturity required for conscious reunion, this psychic exchange becomes stronger and more perceptible. you might begin dreaming of them more often, with dreams that feel unusually vivid and emotionally charged, leaving a lingering impact long after waking. Jung believed such dreams are not mere reflections of desire, but authentic forms of communication between souls connected at the deepest psychological level. They can act as preparation for reuniting in the physical world, helping both people process their personal growth and align energetically to meet again on a higher frequency. Synchronicities also tend to increase during this final stage of the karmic cycle. Jung described synchronicity as meaningful coincidence, events that reveal a hidden unity beneath surface randomness. Between compatible souls, these signs may become so frequent and personal that ignoring them feels impossible. You may come across their name or symbols tied to them in unexpected places, receive indirect messages through others, or repeatedly encounter numbers or words linked to your connection, all reminding you of a deeper, unseen bond. Jung viewed these synchronicities not as random coincidences, but as signs that unseen forces beyond personal consciousness are guiding you, setting the stage for a reunion meant to occur at the right time. However, Jung emphasized a crucial truth about the end of the karmic cycle. The reunion of compatible souls cannot be forced or engineered. It unfolds naturally when both individuals reach a certain level of inner maturity, often in ways neither could have planned or expected. Jung noted that any attempt to rush or control this process only leads to further separation, since it reveals that one or both souls still have inner growth to complete before they can sustain a conscious union. The true reunion happens when both become energetic magnets for each other once again, but this time vibrating on a higher level than when they first met. When this reunion occurs, Jung explained, it's instantly recognizable as something far deeper and more stable than past interactions. The relationship no longer carries the desperation, possessiveness, or emotional games of earlier stages. Instead, there's a profound sense of recognition, calm, and certainty, a feeling that you've reached a place where genuine partnership can finally flourish. Jung referred to this as the hieros gamos, or sacred marriage, where two fully developed individuals unite consciously, maintaining their independence while creating something greater together. The sixth indicator that you've completed the karmic cycle and are ready for conscious union is the ability to discuss past issues, those that once triggered major conflict, with compassion, humor, and understanding. Jung observed that couples who undergo this full transformation develop a shared emotional language, intuitive empathy for each other's patterns, and the ability to handle disagreements constructively. They can laugh at parts of themselves that once caused pain, revisit old wounds without reopening them, and accept each other's flaws without criticism or attempts to control. During this final stage of integration, many couples also discover a shared drive for creative or service-oriented projects, endeavors that transcend their personal relationship and align them with a higher purpose. Jung believed that truly compatible souls unite not just for personal evolution, but to contribute meaningfully to humanity's collective growth. This can manifest through art, healing, social impact, family, or any pursuit that merges their unique strengths into something that serves a larger cause. Ultimately, the clearest sign that you've completed the karmic cycle is a deep sense of peace and stability within the connection, one that's not dependent on external conditions. Jung said, relationships founded on emotional need are easily shaken by external change, but those grounded in soul recognition generate their own inner stability. Such relationships can weather difficulties and disagreements without losing balance, because they're anchored in a love that grows stronger through challenges rather than being weakened by them. Jung also noted that couples who complete the karmic cycle develop a type of communication that goes beyond words. They can sense each other's emotions, even when apart, understanding one another through simple gestures, looks, or silence, something almost impossible for those who haven't experienced such a deep psychic bond. This non-verbal understanding isn't rooted in emotional dependence, but in a true synchrony built over years of profound connection. It's as if they've created a private language, allowing them to discuss complex matters instantly without lengthy explanations. And here's Jung's final and most profound insight about the karmic cycle of love. When two souls finally unite after completing this transformation, they achieve more than personal happiness. They become catalysts for others on the same path. Jung believed that every couple who consciously moves from breakdown to union becomes living proof that love can transcend the limits of ordinary relationships. Their connection radiates a powerful energy that reminds others such love exists, inspiring them not to give up during their most difficult karmic stages. If you've watched this far and recognized your own journey in these words, if it felt like I was describing your experience with someone you see as a compatible soul, know this: it isn't a coincidence. Jung would say you were drawn to this message at the exact moment your soul was ready to understand that what seems like collapse is not failure, but the essential preparation for a love beyond imagination. If you're currently in the stage of separation, trust the process of personal growth unfolding within you. If you're in the stage of mutual deconstruction, keep doing the inner work rather than escaping into shallow relationships. And if you feel reunion approaching, let it happen naturally. Don't try to rush or control divine timing. Now, if you want to move from simply understanding these ideas to actually living them, I've created 2 practical resources to guide your journey. The first is 21 Days of Transformation with Carl Jung, a hands-on guide using Jung's most effective techniques for self-knowledge and individuation. The second is The Survival Manual for Difficult Days, designed for those moments when the karmic collapse feels unbearable and you need real strategies to keep faith. You'll find both linked in the first pinned comment. And before you go, I want to know who truly stayed until the end. Write in the comments, I trust the karmic cycle. That tells me you're not just another viewer, but someone dedicated to growth, ready to trust that this collapse isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of the most extraordinary union 2 souls can ever experience. Thank you for staying until the end. See you in the next video.